History of Arizona. Arizona, a land of rugged landscapes, ancient cultures, and dynamic historical events, holds a rich and complex past. From its early indigenous civilizations to Spanish exploration, Mexican rule, and eventual American statehood, Arizona's history is a fascinating tapestry woven with cultural exchange, territorial struggles, and economic transformations. This account explores the history of Arizona in detail, tracing its development from ancient times to the present. Ancient Arizona, the prehistoric inhabitants. Long before European explorers set foot in the American Southwest, Arizona was home to diverse indigenous cultures. Archaeological evidence suggests human habitation in the region for over 12,000 years. The Clovis and Paleo-Indian period, c. 10,000 BCE, 6,000 BCE. The earliest known inhabitants of Arizona were the Clovis people, named after their distinctive spear points. They were primarily hunter-gatherers who pursued large megafauna, such as mammoths and bison. Over time, as the climate warmed and large game disappeared, these early peoples adapted to a more diverse diet and settled in small groups across the landscape. The Archaic period, c. 6,000 BCE, 1 CE. During this period, indigenous communities transitioned from a purely nomadic lifestyle to one that incorporated early forms of agriculture. They cultivated native plants like maize, beans, and squash. The introduction of pottery and the use of grinding stones signified a shift towards a more settled existence. The Hohokam, Ancestral Puebloans, and Mogollon, c. 300 c. 1500 c. Three primary prehistoric cultures flourished in Arizona. Hohokam, known for their sophisticated irrigation systems, they built extensive canal networks along the Salt and Gila rivers, allowing for large-scale agriculture. They also constructed massive ball courts, indicating trade and cultural exchanges with Mesoamerican societies. Ancestral Puebloans, Anasazi residing in the northeastern part of Arizona, they built impressive cliff dwellings in places like Canyon de Chelly and the famous Pueblo Bonito in Chaco Canyon. Mogollon, inhabiting southeastern Arizona, they were skilled potters and built pit houses before transitioning to above-ground dwellings. By the 15th century, these civilizations declined, possibly due to prolonged droughts, resource depletion, or social upheaval. Their descendants include the Hopi, Zuni, and other modern tribes. Spanish exploration and colonization, 1539 to 1821. The first Europeans to explore Arizona were Spanish explorers searching for gold and new territories. The entrada of Marcos de Niza, 1539. Franciscan Friar Marcos de Niza was the first European to document Arizona, reporting tales of the 7 cities of gold, Cibola. His exaggerated accounts inspired further Spanish expeditions. Francisco Vasquez de Coronado, 1540 to 1542. In search of Cibola, Coronado led a large expedition through Arizona, encountering indigenous peoples such as the Zuni and Hopi. Though he failed to find gold, his journey opened the Southwest to future Spanish exploration. Spanish missions and colonization, 1600s, 1821. In the late 17th century, Spanish missionaries, including the Jesuit priest Eusebio Kino, established missions to convert indigenous people to Christianity. Mission San Xavier del Bac, near present-day Tucson, remains a significant example of this era. Spanish influence in Arizona remained limited due to harsh desert conditions and resistance from local tribes, particularly the Apache. Mexican rule, 1821 to 1848. After gaining independence from Spain in 1821, Mexico inherited Arizona as part of its northern frontier. Challenges of Mexican rule. Mexico struggled to control Arizona, facing continued Apache raids and an inability to develop the region's economy. Few settlers moved north, and conflicts with indigenous groups persisted. The Mexican-American War and the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, 1846 to 1848. Following the war between the U.S. and Mexico, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, 1848, transferred most of Arizona to U.S. control. The southern portion remained Mexican territory until the Gadsden Purchase, 1854, which finalized Arizona's present-day borders. Territorial Arizona and the American West, 1848 to 1912. After becoming part of the U.S., Arizona underwent rapid transformation. The gold rush and westward expansion. The discovery of gold and silver attracted prospectors, leading to conflicts with Native Americans as settlers encroached on their lands. Military forts and reservations were established to suppress indigenous resistance. The Apache Wars, 1861 to 1886. One of the most significant conflicts in Arizona history involved the Apache, particularly leaders like Cochise and Geronimo, who fiercely resisted U.S. encroachment. The conflicts ended with Geronimo's surrender in 1886, marking the end of major indigenous resistance in Arizona. The path to statehood. Arizona was officially designated a U.S. territory in 1863, and after decades of settlement, railroad expansion, and economic development, it became the 48th U.S. state on February 14, 1912. Modern Arizona, 1912, present. Economic development and the Great Depression. Arizona's economy relied on mining, agriculture, and cattle ranching. The Great Depression hit the state hard, but the construction of the Hoover Dam, 1931 to 1936, provided jobs and water resources, boosting Arizona's growth. World War II and the post-war boom. Arizona played a crucial role in World War II with military bases and prisoner of war camps. After the war, returning veterans and an influx of new residents spurred urban growth, particularly in Phoenix and Tucson. Civil rights and Native American self-determination. During the mid-20th century, Arizona was a battleground for civil rights, particularly regarding Native American sovereignty and desegregation. The Indian Self-Determination Act of 1975 helped Native tribes regain governance over their lands. The rise of tourism and technology. By the late 20th and early 21st centuries, Arizona became a major tourist destination, known for its national parks, including the Grand Canyon. The rise of industries like aerospace, technology, and real estate further fueled its economy. Conclusion. Arizona's history is one of resilience, adaptation, and transformation. From ancient indigenous cultures and Spanish explorers to its role in the American frontier and modern economic powerhouse, Arizona continues to be a dynamic state shaped by its rich heritage. Understanding its history helps us appreciate the struggles and triumphs that have made Arizona what it is today.